Hello to America and to the state of Alabama. This is a very serious matter I'm getting ready to discuss here, but first up, the question is, you're probably wondering what the deal is with this guy right back here. I had a bare white wall here in my office and I wanted to do something to clear up the boredom. This is the first thing I found, so I'm changing my office into an Elvis Presley jungle room. I highly recommend it, and it's fun for visuals when you get bored. For instance, now I'm the lead role in Cats on Broadway. Or, check it out, I got hair with I'm Rod Stewart. I know, that's wrong. Well, let me continue with something that's very, very serious. I can't believe what I'm about to tell you. You're not going to believe it either, but it's all true. Here we go. Most of you know who Roy Moore is, right? The famous judge who had the Ten Commandments monument made, paid for it out of his own pocket to install it in the courthouse, spoke about honoring Alabama's constitutional rights and law of God. Then he got railroaded by the Alabama Supreme Court to remove it, where Roy Moore was ordered to resign from the bench. Now in January of this year, 2013, he was elected as Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court. Well, it appears that Roy Moore may no longer be a man of God. There's a case that's just come up before him, and he's kicked two innocent women out of court unrighteously, unlawfully. And I am here now to inquire if Roy Moore is a good, honest man of God or not. If this wasn't such a serious matter, it would be laughable. I'd like to make this lighthearted, but I can't do so. This is very serious. I had to write all this down just so I could keep things straight and read it fast in a few minutes. So I need to get serious here. Fasten your seatbelt. I'm going to read fast. I apologize for that, but there's a lot of information that I need to get out there to you in a short few minutes. Okay. Attention, Chief Justice Roy Moore of the Supreme Court of Alabama. It has now occurred that within the Supreme Court of Alabama, your Supreme Court clerk, Robert G. Esdale, spelled Esdale, is guilty of criminal felony charges and is apparently now joined with other Alabama Supreme Court staff employees and security personnel of yours who are certainly involved to unjustly remove, conceal, omit, and suppress a petition for writ of mandamus, a brief in support for the writ of mandamus regarding the 709-page Title 42 United States Code Statutes 1983-1985 constitutional rights complaint properly filed into the Alabama Supreme Court against corrupt judges Tim Jolly, Judge Tim Riley, and Judge Howard Hawk, all of the Marshall County Court, City of Guntersville, Alabama, and Marshall County Sheriff Scott Walls doing the dirty work for these corrupt judges. And last but not least, the one who started the whole conspiracy in the first place is none other than the bank CEO, president, and bank board member of the People's State Bank of Commerce herself, the white-collar banking fraud criminal with a capital C, Brenda Barnes of Grant, Alabama, and her lapdog attorney, Brian G. Hale, with the Starnes Davis Flory law firm in Birmingham, Alabama. We know Brenda Barnes is a criminal, but now even more surprising is this is all apparently including Chief Justice Roy Moore's very own personal involvement himself. Chief Justice Roy Moore, you have some explaining to do to the people of Alabama. You now stand charged, joined with Robert G. Esdale, to a conspiracy engaged in banking fraud, securities fraud, organized crime, and racketeering under the RICO Act, involved and or joined with the People's State Bank of Commerce of Grant, Alabama, and the Bank Corporation CEO Brenda Barnes of Grant, Alabama, by protecting or shielding them from court prosecution by committing criminal felony crimes all the way to treason against two completely innocent women, also in the town of Grant, Alabama, by the name of Donna Kirkland and Carolyn Sue Kirkland. It is very certain by the physical proof evidence that at least this one Supreme Court clerk, Robert G. Esdale, has clearly prevented and blocked Donna Kirkland from seeking constitutional rights, justice, or remedy by deprivation of due process, committing extrinsic fraud, constructive fraud, fraud upon the court, violation of duty, oath to treason, committing obstruction of justice, mail tampering, extortion, conspiracy, acting as an accessory to, aiding and abetting banking fraud, securities fraud, and going to adjudicating matters of law by himself, joined in concert to a conspiracy cover-up against these two innocent Kirkland sisters on behalf of bank CEO Brenda Barnes. Robert G. Esdale, Brenda Barnes, and the People's State Bank of Commerce have no standing. Judge Tim Jolly has no subject matter jurisdiction. You are in violation of the Alabama Rules of Civil Procedure, and you are in very severe violation of law. Chief Justice Roy Moore has been served notifications by certified mail to respond to these charges and has failed or refused to respond to these notifications. The Alabama Supreme Court security personnel, and I am sure the FBI, specifically FBI agent Melissa Dunning, are very aware of these certified mail notifications. Yet there has been no response at all from you, Judge Moore. All parties named herein have fallen completely silent, taking no further steps or actions. The reason is because now that is all they can do, as they are continually caught in violations of law and court documents to unlawful actions facing the proof of evidence on the record. It is actually the defendants named here that specifically under the conspiratorial direction and control of bank CEO Brenda Barnes that have committed a long string of continued joint criminal felony crimes in violation of law without any lawful standing, without subject matter jurisdiction, completely lacking any judicial authority or power, committed under color of law against the two Kirkland sisters. Brenda Barnes and her co-conspirators named here are now all running, hiding from the truth and the media. They do not want the media to find out the truth to crimes these named defendants committed against these two innocent women. This is all public court record and proceedings, of which all this is public information and access. Roy Moore has some explaining to do publicly, either and or both, about the actions of his employee Robert G. Estelle and himself. If Chief Justice Roy Moore is in fact a man of justified integrity, morals, ethics, a man of honor, and a man of his word, Roy Moore will not now turn his back to God. Roy Moore will not now turn his back against the people of Alabama, going against his word of the people of Alabama, or deny Donna Kirkland her constitutional rights, or deny the law of God accordingly. Accordingly, Roy Moore must make the good faith effort to publicly come forward and clear his name from these charges in conspiracy. And so, as a cautionary note to the press media, to be very aware that the only fair and justified public response from either Chief Justice Roy Moore or FBI agent Melissa Dunning will only be considered by them both doing so by personally appearing publicly in an open public forum in the light of day, not hiding behind closed doors, not in their private offices or a closed courtroom, but only in the physical presence, face-to-face, on camera, with Donna Kirkland herself and myself present in person, face-to-face with Roy Moore, where the media and the citizens of Alabama will see and hear all of us together at the same time in full public view, and hear everything that is said in answer to these charges I make here today for myself and Donna Kirkland, to make immediate rebuttal to any response answers by Roy Moore or Melissa Dunning. They must answer only in person as only described here. Nothing will be concealed. Nothing else is acceptable. No other type of spokesperson or other attorney mouthpieces from the Department of Justice or otherwise can officially answer for Roy Moore or Melissa Dunning in their place. Roy Moore is, after all, a big boy now and the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court, where he can and should speak for himself and his involvement, and is or should certainly be required to answer our claims directly. Therefore, no such other deceptive loophole, legalese, rhetoric, excuses made by any others cannot be further tolerated or accepted as fair, sufficient, legal, constitutional, lawful, justified, morally, ethically, or even spiritually allowed by simple common sense, a sense of common decency, a sense of fair play, and under the respect for God and the law to the people of Alabama, as Roy Moore has been very vocal, outspoken about. Again, the press media themselves need to be very aware and clearly understand that if any action is taken against me or any answer to the contrary is made otherwise than is just stated, then it is to be further regarded as criminal intent to lie and deceive the media and the people of Alabama. And you here today seeing this will immediately know these parties are continuing to act criminally in a concealment to a cover-up conspiracy. Failure for FBI agent Melissa Dunning also to come forward in the same open public manner of disclosure also will show she is hiding, covering up the truth, acting in violation of law. The FBI too must come forward with clean hands. You are all employees of we the people who employ you to perform your jobs honestly, correctly, justly, not in deceptive secrecy behind closed doors behind our backs. Judge Tim Jolly, Brian G. Hale, Brenda Barnes, Robert G. Estelle, Chief Justice Roy Moore, where do you stand in the truth, the law before God? The people of Alabama will be waiting for your answer. Learn more about bank foreclosures and the Donna Kirkland case at www.donnakirklandlawsuit.com and watch for our other videos out there. Stay tuned to see what happens next. Thank you.